All right. Hey, everybody. This is the 9th annual Matthew Sorenson Memorial Disc Golf Tournament in Gillette, Wyoming. I'm here with Jordan. He's one of the fellows that helped run this tournament. We're going to have Shad Green on the card and Gabe Fischer. They're both from Gillette. Gabe was also instrumental in running this tournament, I believe. Peter Klopfenstein, I hope I'm saying that right. I have no idea if I'm saying that right, though, but he's out of South Dakota. We got a couple of South Dakota guys. James Wyatt here is also out of Rapid City, South Dakota. So kind of a Wyoming, South Dakota battle going on here a little bit. So here's hole one. We got OB left in the parking lot and sidewalk and beyond. Pretty open otherwise. So this course seems kind of like a little bit of a birdie or die course. It's a more beginner friendly course than our second round will be.
It does have some danger, but
definitely, especially the way you guys have set up some of the OBs. Bringing some danger in there.
But if you see the scores for the pro card, you can see that they did shoot pretty well on the course.
Yeah. James Wyatt seems he's kind of playing up a division, which I think is great. I think a lot of people should kind of push themselves that way. It helps you improve. He had some really good putts. That one was really close. Peter here running for his birdie. It was a pretty calm day. We didn't have a lot of wind, so didn't have a lot to worry about that way.
Gillette can be very, very windy.
It surprised me how much less stable the discs seem to fly in Gillette than they do here in Cheyenne. I didn't think it was as much lower as it is. It was a nice par putt from Shad. Saved that after the bounce off the top of the basket.
And there you got Gabe getting the only birdie on the card for hole one.
Heck yeah, you gotta love being the only birdie to start off the day. Which, like you said, it's a very scoreable course, but there is a lot of danger out there. That first hole, not so much. But yeah, as we see, Gabe getting the only birdie on the hole. Sure was a beautiful park that this course was in. That lake around the side was a little bit intimidating, though.
It was, and there's lots of discs that have been lost in that lake.
Oh, I'm sure those cattails on the left it just vanishes in there. And then this time it's just a hazard on the right, so path and left is safe, but the right side of the path is hazard. They'll play it from there, but with a penalty.
Yeah, and that's just one of the things this year that we tried to do a little bit differently that we have in the past. We're always trying to get feedback from our players, and we're always trying to make it a little bit different to see how we can give the participants the best experience.
I really like this sidearm line, but you have to trust it, 'cause you got to take it out over those cattails. That's a scary shot, but I really like that line. Oh, and off of the tree.
That's the danger with this course, and
to be honest, I feel like that's the mistake to make, though. If you miss left, that disc is probably gone.
Yes, it is.
Nice approach from both of them there. We got Shad. Oh, he had to go up and over that branch. It was more in his way than it looks. It's still in Peter's way a little bit here, too. He was able to get under it there. Nice birdie. That is such an intimidating hole because that landing area is so narrow. It's not very long, but so easy if you're just off a little bit to just be totally out of play.
And I think that having experience on this course is really important to, have played the holes and see how different flight patterns go.
Get a feel for the distances.
Yeah, and then it's, if you've played this course before, it is that birdie or die, but if you haven't played, it could present some problems for the players.
Oh, yeah. I played it the day after this tournament just to try it out while I was there, and I was misreading my distances all day, kept getting myself in trouble. I was on the wrong side of trees. I was blocked by one thing or another all day. So here's hole 3, getting a little bit of length into this one, 326, OB, path and beyond. And then you really don't want to go right. Those trees on the right are going to really block you off if you're too far right.
Yeah, you can see they're kind of low hanging over there on the right side of the screen.
Makes it where you really want to play it over the path and have it coming back to the right. So again, Peter's sidearm is a great call here.
Right, and as a backhand right hand, you really got to trust your shot, because if you don't, it's going to hyzer out or it's going to burn out on the right. It is one of the more demanding holes on the course, I would say.
Yeah, you don't want to overturn it or you're cut rolling OB, but if you don't turn it enough, you're just OB.
Gabe was right on the edge of those trees.
Yeah.
He's a local player, and he knows the lines on this course for those, and he knows exactly how to push it right up next to it to get up to it. Shad's also local. He had a great shot on that.
Yeah, that was a really nice looking shot. Oh, James is hyzering out a little, and that'll be OB again. These first few holes, there was a lot of OB around them. Not the first one, but second, third, I think even the fourth hole is going to have, I think it was fourth and fifth were intimidating islands, kind of. So, yeah.
Gillette's kind of known for that. I've been going to Gillette for a long time for disc golf tournaments. And
Gabe saying he missed it. He said.
And they've always been including a lot of out of bounds and making the courses really challenging.
And that really does help bring in a little bit more of a competitive factor into a course like this. This is a great course, don't get me wrong, just it's not as suited to tournament play without a little bit of modification.
Yeah, it's pretty wide open if we didn't have these OBs and these islands and these hazards.
Right.
And so
add a little more challenge to the course is a great idea in that situation.
15 putt or 50.
Shad talking about push-ups for each missed putt there. So yeah, James finding an OB and taking a bogey again, and Peter and Gabe both getting the birdie on that one. Looks like being a little right isn't too bad. So this one is an island hole, as you can see. You don't want to miss left, but no matter where you miss the island, you go to the drop zone. But if you miss right, you'll get your disc back. That's a good way to play it. Just let it skip off the path and in, but sure was lucky that it didn't stay out. And that's all right. Kind of brings the OB into play on the putt, though, a little bit.
you could see the winds blowing a little bit more, and a lot of these guys are going with the hyzer line. This hole is more open up top, but there are those willows and there are some trees over there on the right that can get you in trouble.
Yeah, I was definitely looking at that left to right line thinking that was a good way to go. Oh, another OB there. But if you don't trust your sidearm or your anhyzer, that left to right line, you might not ever have a chance. Oh, and Gabe off the top there. At least he committed to it. It's a good bid. Oh, and Shad, a little off the top also. Peter for 2 birdies in a row. Here we have James trying to save his bogey. Oh man. He had some really cool putters. They were the Dr. Pepper logo and say Dr. Putter on them. It was really cool, actually. I liked his putters. But that also to me means he was probably putting with premium plastic putters. I don't ever do that. I have never been a fan of trying to putt with premium plastic unless it's pretty soft. But base plastic just doesn't take dye well enough for that dye to come out as nice as they were.
Really get that pastel look with it.
Yeah. Alright, hole 5. This was a much more forgiving island, but it's also domed, so it was wanting to feed away from the hole. If you were a little left, a little long, anything, it tried to run to the OB.
And just like the last hole, I'd say this is one of the more windy holes on the course, so that added just a little bit more danger for it.
Yeah, a little pucker factor.
Yep, you can see those trees over on the right too, and those stop discs, so really another demanding shot.
When Gabe got it to check up on that slope, wasn't sure he was gonna. I thought if it hit that slope, it was just down. Must have been a mid or something. Which, it's only 218 feet, so they're probably throwing an overstable mid, or he might have been throwing a neutral one.
I know Gabe's been throwing a Buzz for a long time, but he also likes the Fuse and the Buzz OS, so
okay,
yeah, those are the mid-ranges he's got in his bag, or maybe a Zone.
Oh, that was unfortunate. That looked good all the way in. James's is a scary putt with that drop off right behind the basket there.
Yeah, if he didn't get basket, or if he went a little high, he would have been deep in those reeds.
Yeah. Another nice birdie for Peter.
Peter's on a roll.
Yeah. Shad getting his first birdie of the round. And James and Gabe will tap out their pars. No real bloodshed on that hole. So Peter taking the early lead at 4 down, 2 ahead of Gabe, 3 ahead of Shad. James just needs to fight his way back. He's gonna loosen up here, I'm sure. This one was kind of interesting.
Yeah, we got a
Mando on it.
Yep, a Mando tree. And so that really is in play to keep people from doing that obvious hyzer line over the path. And also kind of to protect our other park users.
Right, take anybody walking on the path out of play, kind of.
Yep.
Well, and it did make it a more difficult hole. Without that Mando, it'd be a real easy hyzer around that tree.
Yep, for those backhands, it is just
for the backhand righties.
Garden variety shot.
Yeah.
But this made you had to actually shape your shot. My percentage for the hyzer is way better on this hole than it is to have to go around that Mando.
Oh, yeah. Well, and not everybody has a good sidearm. You saw Gabe throw a backhand. You don't see him throw many sidearms.
No.
And a shot like this on that short of a hole, it's so hard to get something to hold that anhyzer without going long.
And if you glide, that flower bed right there is OB. And so just going past the basket 10 feet, you're probably going to find that OB, or you're going to find the OB in the sidewalk and beyond.
Definitely makes it a difficult hole. Takes a fairly easy hole and adds some good challenge to it.
You got that sidearm like Peter, though. It's the shot to make.
Yeah. Shad just parked with his sidearm. So that was a star birdie there, I believe. Nice to see that. Alright, so this one you have OB left. The OB right, I suppose, could come into play, but less likely than the OB left.
Yeah, those trees kind of block you off from that.
Right.
And it's a pretty open hole, but as you see from the scores that we're going to get on it, you know, it also has some challenge to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an open hole, but it's a pretty guarded green. If you don't get your distance just right, you're really going to have a difficult putt.
Right, and it looks like these guys are going with the wind now, and that's probably affecting, you know, most of their shots a little bit, and now that they're going in the opposite direction.
Looks like that one's, yeah, he's got quite a bit of that treeage in his way.
Yep.
Still didn't quite get around it.
You know, he was probably 40 feet from the basket, and you know, you're going to see he's got another putt just to save his par, and right off the rim.
And then Peter went a little long, and he's got that tree on the other side of the basket in his way. So it's a really protected green. You got to play your distance just right.
I think you're exactly right, Dale.
Good try.
See, Gabe was maybe 20 feet away.
Shad got to the good side of that. Oh, and left it low. His putting just hasn't quite been there.
That 202-foot hole, nobody scored on it, and we had one person actually take a bogey. So,
yeah,
like I said,
yeah, it's, you know, it's fairly scoreable, but easily bogeyable too. It can really come and bite you if you're not careful. So yeah, 202-foot hole and not a single birdie on it. That'll take James back to 4 over, and the rest of them stay where they were at. So far, Peter's got a pretty good lead going. Just got to keep it going. So here's 233 feet, but what, OB's at like 240 feet?
Pretty much that. That road is pretty much the main OB that's going to come into play, and you can see Peter throwing his sidearm. It's a great shot selection because it's a demanding shot, and that OB comes into play for the right-hand backhand.
Very much so. If you don't get it Annian enough, you're OB. Looks like Shad went a little long with that. Left him, so I don't know, maybe around circle's edge.
There's Gabe with a thumber. This is a thumber line for sure.
I will admit, though, every time I see him starting to line up that thumber as catch cam, I get scared. I don't want that coming down on my head. Looks like they all got some pretty good drives off on it. Oh, just not quite lining the putt up like he'd like yet, but Gabe might be a little blocked. Oh no, he's fine. He's fine.
Little tree kiss.
Little grin from him there. Nice birdie from James. And Shad almost got himself too far in there. Not too bad though, was able to save the par. Finally, Peter gets to putt again. So yeah, 3 birdies on that one. Kind of widening the gap off of Shad a little bit there, and James starting to fight his way back again. So here's hole 9, 355 feet. It's actually quite a bit longer than I thought it was when I first saw it. It plays longer than you think too, just because you're so trying to take it out wide and bring it back in. Oh, and Peter's gonna cut roll there. He'll be safe at least. You don't want to hit the cars all parked along the left side. Gabe will just park it and take all that out of the factor altogether.
Yeah, there is a real alley for that right-hand backhand on this hole, and maybe that was part of what got in to affect Peter's shot a little bit.
Yeah, he really needed to flex a sidearm to make it work. Oh, and Shad hit that tree. Crack. So here's Peter approaching. Okay, yeah, that should save him the par. James left himself a little longer than he'd like to, huh? Shad actually got further up there than I thought he did from the video. But again, just an easy par from there.
You could see a few frames back, you could see the Tournament Central and see all those banners from our sponsors for this event. And the community really comes together and supports this event. And the tournament goal is to raise money for a local charity. And every year Kevin's raising $5,000 to $8,000, and that's just a wonderful thing that they can do with this tournament.
Yeah, that's great. I love hearing about that stuff. Using disc golf to bring the community together.
Yeah, and Kevin works on this all year in the fundraising for it. So, really takes a commitment from him.
Nice. Well, that's the end of our front nine here. So, come back and join us for part 2.